Well, you know, a few hours ago, every hour on the hour, no, every 30 minutes or so, we went to tribal council. It wasn't really the fabulous thing, and I kind of never did that before, losing every single solitary challenge. We're just gonna wipe that dirt off. And so, yeah, and then our last tribal council was, the 3 survivors were left. And so we decided that we are not gonna vote each other out. So we just said, you know what? If we all vote for each other, we'll just go for rocks and fate will happen. And so that's what we did. And fate happened and I'm still here. Yes. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, please don't pick one. Please don't pick one.
There's a little bit of dividing and conquering going on right now. I mean, as we're going for a little wood or as we're walking to the water, but it's just like the real quick whisper, 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 whisper. Oh yeah, look at the water. I mean, it's not like we sit down and have big powwows about this because we're all in one location. It all has to happen real fast. So, and if you do too much of that, then everybody's like, oh, John's running around talking to everybody. I don't want that to happen, okay? So it's gotta be a casual thing, and it's gotta be a thing where, hey man, are y'all solid over there? Is there any way I can help you guys out? I mean, that kind of thing, and you just kind of fishing for somebody to go, well, to be honest with you, I'm on the bottom of the totem pole, then we need to talk. But if they're like, well, you know, I mean, we got it going on, but, you know, then I'm like, okay, don't say any more, pick up some firewood. It's just kind of, you know, play by play, you know, see what happens, and don't look too suspicious in the process.
I'm listening to everyone. I'm observing everyone. I'm trying to befriend everyone and build a relationship with them. I came in with the attitude of kind of just be subtle, be honest and be subtle. And tonight I have to make a decision of, do I continue to be subtle or am I going to become a little more aggressive? And I'm trying to make those careful, calculated choices.
The problem right now is that I know that this is the point where I could go out. All those other times that I was worried about the numbers, I wasn't really worried about going out. I knew where every single vote was going today. I knew who was voting for who, and I was surprised only once by my closest alliance member. So he's kind of dead to me, but I need him right now. And so I'm gonna have to figure out who I can work with right now. I've been approached by every single person now in that camp. And every single person has some idea of how there's going to be numbers that make sense. But they're talking to everybody else too, so you know it's a bunch of crap. But of course you're going to listen to it, you're going to nod, you're going to smile, and you're going to see if there's some way that you can work with.
It's fun to play this game again. I love this game. And the fact that I have been able to already get the full experience, I found an advantage. I've won a bunch of immunity challenges. I've made a number of different alliances that were all true at the time because that was the group that I was with at the time, but now I'm with all of those groups together at the same time. And so I'm now about to cross another survivor threshold of having to break some prior deals. That's another part of this crazy game that we call Survivor. But it's fun, it's exciting, and I don't know what's gonna happen. So I can't wait for one more day of this crazy challenge.
We went out and somebody said they had a clue that they found in the man team flag, and that it was gonna be a legacy advantage in the furthest fire pile from the thing. So when John said that fire pile is the farthest, then we knew, pretty much all the guys knew that was the one. And so we just busted out to run and peeled them back, and I saw it and grabbed it, and 2 other guys grabbed it too, and somehow I came out with it. And so I read it, and I guess I didn't see this played before, so I really don't know the gist of it. So let me try to read it for you here. Congratulations, you have found the legacy advantage. If you are in possession of this note on merge night, you will receive an advantage in the game. Yes! That's tonight. Okay. Never had an advantage in the game before. I'm very excited. If you are voted out, hopefully not, you must will it to another player. This note may not be opened until your merge night confessional, which is now. That's why I had to go get it.
Correct.
I'm connecting the dots, man. I'm almost there. This note cannot be stolen, but it can be given to another player at any point in the game. So I can give it, or if I get voted out, I must will it. It says, you have won $1 million! Or something to that effect. It says, this note gives immunity to one man and one woman at the same tribal council. It can be played as long as 7 people remain in the game. Play it after the votes have been cast, but before they have been read. You see, Carolyn and I have, we were on the same tribe. We built this fire, and we struck an alliance the first hour of the game. If something happens, and if Carolyn and I think our name is up there, then this would be a great thing to use. So that's cool. Right now, the Blue Tribe has come in with 7, and so they have the numbers. We have 2, no, with 6, I guess, and we have 2, Carolyn and I, from Wetu Tribe, and then the other tribe, Tendra, right? They have 3, Steve, Nick, and Nick, so that makes 5. Is it Umpe? Is that the tribe name? Anyway, so they have 6. So we come down 1 person down right now. So what we're doing right now is trying to see if there's any Blue Tribe members that would be willing to turn. Got a couple of leads, but that kind of stuff can backfire on you, So we'll have to really play it out. I think we're solid with Steve, Nick, and me and Carolyn, because we know that we're the underdogs, we know that we're the ones down, and we know that the other team has stuck together so well, they don't need to negotiate, they don't need help, so I think we're solid, and if we get 1 person from the Blue over, then we're good, but that'll have to be real solid for me to trust it,
The thing is, I've been talking to a lot of people, and I found out that the Blues don't have a solid, as solid a 6 or 7 or 12. They have freaking the whole team, as one would think, right? Because there were several names that were voted down. Like in our tribe, when we went to tribal council, it was 1 vote. Like we decided, we stuck with it, and we went forward. And they have this one here, this one there, this one got 2, this one got 1. They made me vote here, and so I'm like, oh really? In 2 seconds flat, I talked to Pink, and I'm like, look, you're 3, we're 2, they're 6. We got 5, we need 1 more. So you willing to work? And they're like, yes. So I already have that in the bag working.
Well, we know that the final tribal council for the Blue Tribe was a split type of thing. We know that there were people on the bottom. We know that there was a random vote for Candace. We know all this stuff. And so, yes, they can talk about we're the tight 6. Well, no, that's crap. You're not the tight 6. You didn't even vote together the last time, which was like 20 minutes ago. So don't give us this tight 6. So they're really actually not insulting our intelligence by telling us that they're a tight 6, because that's just absurd. But they are saying things like, oh, we don't know, maybe we can work together. And the thing is that Adam and I had been looking at each other all day, that we were going to get back together. And that was the plan that I had at the time, and it was truthful at the time, that sure, me and Nick would get back together with Candace and with Bethany and with Adam. And then, of course, Adam comes to me and is like, well, what if we bring in somebody else and not Candace? And actually, I could bring in 4. And I'm like, well, no, I'm not going to bring in. You're going to bring in 4, and I'm going to bring in 3. Look, you might have won the $1 million, but I'm not stupid. No, I'm not going to join an alliance of 7 with my group of 3. So that's what makes something like John and Carolyn very interesting. because, okay, there's the two of them and they can bring somebody else in, they say. And they're looking at Austin, and they're also looking at David, who of course was one of the people who got votes in the last tribal council. And that would be a lot better for me, because we only need 6, we don't need 7. So if we have 6 and we have the 3 of us who are tightish, I'm the only one of the 3 of us who doesn't think that we are a tight 3 that's going to go to the end. But unless they're lying to me, but they're really not very good liars. So sure, my 3 plus Carolyn and John and one more person, fantastic, because I would be more than happy if we could somehow ride that out to the final 6, or literally the final 7, and scoop somebody else up, then get rid of Carolyn and John then. Because Carolyn and John both, yes, they are immunity threats. I'm not saying that they're not, but they're not God. They've got to be crappy at something, and then we can deal with it then.
I know that Dave, who took a very long time with the puzzle and didn't win it, when he had like a 7-hour lead. So people are like, dude, really? You lost that lead? So he felt like they would be upset with him. And so at the tribal council, we heard, somebody told us that he made a fake immunity idol or something like that, and it kind of backfired or whatever. And he ended up getting 3 votes cast against him. And so when we were walking back, just these things have to be micro quick, because it's like in a line to the potty and back, and you got handlers around you and other people looking, and it's kind of weird, So I just said, hey man, after the merge, and we're walking back with he and I were holding the food ice chest, and I said, hey, because we had already talked before, and I felt he was going to be kind of cool, and I said, man, I don't know what kind of alliance you have over there on the Blue Tribe, but if there's any way we can get you to work with us on the pink and orange, to pull it together, love to have you. He goes, we'll talk to me later. So I'm like, cool. And then I found out that he had that whole thing go on with some votes cast against him, so I don't think he's feeling very safe with the Blue Tribe right now. And if we can pull him over, that would be a good one. He's really, I think, the main one that I think we have some leverage with. I've spoken to Austin, and he says, man, look, right now I'm sitting pretty good, but you know how these things can turn in a heartbeat. If I ever feel like I need to jump ship, you'll be the first one to know, that kind of thing. So nothing really solid, but Dave was a definite, let's talk. So we'll see what happens with that.
Every person that I had no relationship with is gone. All of them. So I have a connection to every single person in this game right now. That is a very powerful, potentially, position to be in, but also a very dangerous position. From the Orange Tribe, I have the only 2 survivors that are still in the game. It's likely that they would want to work with survivors if the option is there. There's 11 of us and only 3 survivors, so that might be difficult, but I think between the 3 of us, potentially, if I wanted to go that way, we could swing a few people. There's the 3 guys from the Pink Tribe who I was with the first day. I was with 2 of them the first night, and we all said that we would work together from the very beginning. And they have been keeping eye contact with me throughout the entire game, checking in with me, I'm checking in with them, and it seems clear from the boot order that they did that they had our group's best interests in mind throughout the day. So they also need me, because there's only 3 of them in a tribe of 11. Again, they need numbers, and that's where I can come in handy. And then there's a group of 6 of us from my tribe today that somehow dominated the challenges. I don't know how. We didn't look like the strongest tribe on paper, but we did really well. We won a bunch of challenges, which was a lot of fun. We didn't have to do a whole lot of voting people out. We only had 1 real difficult vote. And there is a lot of sense of loyalty within this group, especially within the group of people, I think, that are sort of maybe on the fringes of the alliance, which means that they're likely to not flip. the only people that I would think, based on the way that they play the game and knowing how much of gamers they are, that potentially would flip are the people that are my closest allies, like Austin. And Austin isn't flipping without me. So I really feel like and again, you know, I have a huge target on my back. I won the real version of Survivor on CBS, and everyone is thinking that probably that I'm a threat and they probably don't want to go to the end with me. But right now, I think they need me. And so if I wanted to, I think that there is a path to make it so that people continue to need me throughout the entire merge. If we can keep the numbers even enough, then I'll never be expendable. I could stick with the group that I have today, and we have said, all of us, all 6 of us have said, this is the final 6. And there's only 11 people left.
The 6 you're...
The 6 that I was on a tribe with today, we had one fractured vote at the end, but we came back and everyone realized, you know, what happened had to be done. And so moving forward, you know, everyone's at least saying that they want to work together. It's totally possible that we have some great liars in the group and that they're not telling the truth. But I don't think that Candace is that type of player. I don't think that, I think that Dave has the potential to be the kind of player that could shake up the game. But I don't think that he has enough relationships to do anything, even if he wanted to. The people that he was working with originally are all gone. LJ's group is totally decimated for the most part. And that's what we were thinking going into the merge, was that there was going to be, you know, our group and then LJ's group, and that was going to be the war. But the war happened via challenges today.
LJ was somebody who I thought we could rally a group behind, oh, big bad LJ, because that's been kind of the narrative, you know, during this game. But with him gone, I have to choose Adam, I have to choose John, and I think those are the 2 that would be the easiest to get people to vote for. I would choose Carolyn, but she's got immunity, so it's got to be one of the other 2. The only problem is, and I may be wrong here, but I think that the other big target that's out there besides Adam and John is probably me at this point. And if the big target is me, and Adam and John get together and figure out, let's take out Steve and then move forward, then I could be in big trouble.
I'm not gonna turn on blue at all. If us 6 stay tight, we're gonna stay tight. That's the plan. That's the plan of action as of right now. Okay, probably gonna look really dumb. Let's put that on the record. But we had a discussion that if blue won the challenges today, which we did, that we would stay tight going into the merge. We would stay to 6. We're trying to give off a vibe of we're going to vote orange, but we're actually going to vote pink, and that person's going to be Steve. He's strong, and he's going to win these challenges. And if we don't take him out, he's going to take us out. If we don't start picking them off, right now we have the advantage of a higher number if we stay together. What we have to factor in is we think one of orange had an idol. We have to figure out, did they play it? Or did they give it to Caroline and John, and they're gonna play it? So we're trying to see if we can figure that information out, maybe force them into playing it by thinking we're gonna vote for one of them tomorrow. If they play it thinking they're gonna get voted and we actually vote pink, then they've wasted it. And now we're really in a better position. But what I have learned and observed is the minute you think you're in control, you're absolutely not in control.
When I saw that my name was written down for the first time in the final 4, well, let me say, when I saw the vote against me in the final 4, I thought, part of me thought, congratulations, the 3 of you finally figured out that you should have done this a few votes ago. And then that wasn't the case. And so it was only Nick H, who was my closest alliance mate. I've been with him from the beginning, and he voted for me. So I stared at him. I stared him down right there in tribal council. And before we even walked out, I picked up the flag, and he said, I have to confess something to you. It's like, well, I'm all ears. Tell me what you have to confess. And he's like, I voted for you. He doesn't know this. I thought the other Nick had voted for me. At that moment, I did. I stared Nick down because I was trying to give him the look like, what the hell just happened here? But he took it as an accusatory look. Worked beautifully. It was great. So then he went through this whole thing like I was trying to force a tie because I thought that she was voting against you, and I just wanted to make sure that you hadn't flipped on me, and was that. And the more he talked, the more I'm like, I have 6 children. I know when I catch somebody and they start talking and it doesn't make any sense, that they did something wrong. They know that they did something wrong. They know that I know that they did something wrong. And so he's giving me this type of thing. So I gave him my stinky bear hug, and I'm like, no, look, I get it. It's a game. I love you. It's great. We're still good. The thing that kind of pissed me off about that is I had said to Nick, I said to him, and I was sincere about this, I said to him that if we kept going without a merge, because he wants to be here so much, I said to him, fine. We will take everybody else out. And if it's just the 2 of us and one of us has to go, I will go because you can go into the merge. So he knows that I've made him a final 2 pact. I've given him a final 1 pact. And then he voted against me. So I'm trying to understand why would you vote for me? And he's giving me this long cockamamie story that doesn't make any sense at all. So I gave him the hug, and I'm old enough to be his dad. Let's face it. It's the truth. I'm 24 years older than him. So I'm just like, look, it's a game. It's fine and everything. And the other Nick walked away to go to the bathroom or something. And I said to Nick H, I'm like, I really hope this doesn't change anything with us because I still want to go to the end with you. And I do want to go to the end with him because there's no way he can beat me. But he can be dead to me after I win. But I think that the fact that he voted for me, confessed it, and I forgave him and gave him the big hug, and he was actually just he was staring off into space. I knew he wasn't thinking about the fact that he had voted for me, but I'm like, hey dude, I patted him on the thigh. I'm like, seriously, is that what, are you still going over this in your head? Because I've moved past it. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm really sorry. And I'm like, look, it's a game, we're good. I truly think that it would take an act of God for Nick H to write my name down again. Granted, who knows what he's talking about back at camp right now. And I'll use that at this point. Nick C has also said given me, if there's a final 2, I wanted to go with you and everything. So I guess just like Candace, I'm a love the one you're with type of person, and I'm with them right now. And that's 3. So now I only have to find 3 more.
To be honest with you, I'm just happy. I was the first one voted out of Thailand. I think it shocked Jeff and Mark Burnett. They told me that. They were like, dude, we knew for sure you were going to win this thing. And we don't know what happened. Well, what happened was I was out collecting food, water, and making fire while everybody else is under the cave making alliances. And so I didn't have my social game on. And so I thought this time I truly didn't care if I won or lost. And I'm just going to go in and make friends and have fun and do a good job, make people happy that they came, be more about them than I am about me. And if I go any further, then that'd be great. And so I'm just happy that I made the merge. To me, that's a huge thing. And it came down to all 3 of us, LJ, me, and Carolyn, who respected each other enough to were like, dude, because I said, look, if y'all want me to go, I'll just go. I said, I'm not writing y'all's names down. I'm not going to do it. And LJ was like, well, what are we going to do? He says, you want to just do a 3-way tie? And Carolyn was like, hey, that's probably the best way to do it. And I thought it was brilliant, and a lot of integrity in that. And I think it showed that the survivors really have some integrity and are playing for the right reasons. And so that's the only reason, luck of the draw, I'm here. You know, if not, I wouldn't be here. I'd be happily eating a sandwich, taking a shower, and kicking back with the rest of the fans. I feel completely redeemed, and to make it to the, I can go home and tell my wife, hey, made it to the merge, you know what I'm saying? Now, if I can just not be the first one voted off after the merge, at that point, then it's just a matter of semantics. You know, did you win? No, but I was close. I mean, you know, that kind of thing. There's only one winner, you know, and you got to be cool with that. I'm a little bit leery of Adam, only because he's a winner. He's brilliant. He's so freaking likable. Nobody's gonna, you know. So it's like, dude, I'm sorry, but I love you. You got to go. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, he's so socially adept. It's like, man. So him, but then other than him, no, I don't. I think he's the heartbeat holding that tribe together. And I think if the head of the snake is cut off, I think it's up for grabs. Not that they're a snake, but you know what I'm saying. The illustration. Take the leader out, and I don't think there's a whole lot of loyalty there.
I do think that I have a shot. I think that there is a path to the end, and I think that if I do get to the end, you could make the argument that I came into this game with the biggest target on my back. Not only did I come into the game with the biggest target on my back, but it was reinforced very early on when I was singled out as the strongest male, which I still don't agree with. And yet I'm still in a very strong position, and there are a lot of people that have relationships with me that probably feel like they need to work with me in order to get to the end game.
If it had come down to us three, I think I certainly would have been on the chopping block, or could have been. I do not think it would have been Adam. He's extremely strong. He's smart. I mean, he's extremely smart. I think in this game, he thinks not only in the current moves, but 3 moves ahead. He's thinking about all different types of scenarios. So he's very impressive to watch and to even listen to. I think it would have been between Bethany and I. It would not have been Adam. But it most likely would have been me, because because I'm the returning player. I don't know. It would have been, I think Adam might have led Bethany into a decision, or he might have led me into, we would have discussed and figured it out at that point.
You know who I really like so far? I like Bethany and Austin. Just because I've talked to them the most so far, and, you know, we're just exchanging stories, and so I think they may be open. Of course, I'm going to go to Adam and I'm be like, dude, let's work it. Survivor strong. So we'll see. Because he's got to have it. He might think he's safe right now, but listen, with us, he could be final 3. With them, he can be final 6. Because they're not going to bring him past 6.
I feel like I can only go with what I know, and I can only trust my gut, and I can look at these people in the face and be honest and give them descriptions of where I think I was strong. And I think they will analyze my game. I think they will sit back and say, okay, yes, you know what, she did come in and she was subtle. She was quiet at first. She didn't really say a whole lot. And I think even the term reserved was used. That is a strategy in and of itself. You don't always have to come in with guns blazing in the beginning to get where you need to go. But I've also seen that be a downfall for people too, so that, I mean, my coins, it could go either way for me. It could go either way. But I hope that they would see that as a strength, and that it was actually play and not necessarily, there were times today I could have spoken up and said something stronger or voiced my opinion, but I felt it was best if I didn't, because I wasn't at the merge yet. And I didn't know if they would take me if I started voicing my opinion on how we should do things, or how things should go, or what my ideas were.
I'm trying to listen, and I'm also just trying to be like, you know, I'll do anything. I just, you know. The one thing that's changed now that we're merged is that I don't feel bad anymore about the votes that I cast. Before the merge, everybody's been saying, you know, the woe is me story, I just want to make the merge. Well, you know, there were 13 people who couldn't make the merge. Now everybody's made the merge. We're all winners. Everybody gets a trophy. But now I can't feel bad when I vote for somebody, because, you know, they're all going to be gunning for me. I will be shocked if I can make it through this game without having multiple votes against me. And I think they're going to start first thing in the morning.
Everyone, come this way. Leave your gear. Come with us. We're going to meet everybody right now. We have everybody. Let's go.
Okay.
Steve John. Right?
Yep.
Can you guys spread it?
I think we're good.
Is that still?
Yeah. Just stay tight.
Up right here. And gather up. Everybody, come on.
Hello, Anabe. Oh, what are you doing here?
Hey, Jeff.
Ready to get to your first tribal council?
Oh my God.
Yes.
You gotta be kidding me.
Follow me.
Oh, no.
yeah.
This is awesome.
This is really cool.
Unexpected.
Wow. Well, welcome, Anabe. It's a season of firsts. This is our first nighttime tribal council. So let's get right to it. Adam, I'll start with you. We've been throwing a lot of stuff at you. We threw an individual immunity challenge at the end of the day. Were you thinking tribal was coming tonight, or you thought maybe it's going to be tomorrow morning?
We definitely thought it was going to be tomorrow morning. This is not only unexpected, but also really beautiful. I feel like I'm saying the same thing that I said when I went to my very first tribal council, which is like, wow, look at this set. Like, this is amazing. So it's super scary. I hope that that everything's lined up the way that it's supposed to be, but you definitely threw a wrench in our plans here.
Hey, excuse me, is that supposed to be firing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So John, I saw a bunch of people starting to whisper as we walked up the trail. You're not necessarily thinking you're coming tonight. Are there already voting alliances in place that are going to be easy to just implement right now as we're sitting here? Or you think we still have to determine what has to be done to get to this first vote?
Somebody just whispered to me, I hope we don't run into a bear. So I'm not sure what whispering was going on, but I mean, we all fought hard today. I think, everybody loves everybody that's here. So, man, I guess people will vote their conscience, and hopefully something. It'll be fun to see, because I don't know that everybody's ready to do whatever they're going to do. So you kind of caught us off guard here, Jeff.
Carolyn, you're wearing that necklace. How good does that feel right now?
It feels fabulous. I have no idea what's going on right now. I don't know who we're voting for. And at least I know I've got one more day, or
hour. Candace, we saw a big run by Umpe at the end of the day today. Took you to a majority position here at the merge. How big is that going to play into this first vote?
The votes will show for themselves. Everybody, like I said, I think everybody's caught off guard. Everybody's in a weird position. You know, we were a very strong blue team. We are a very strong blue team, and votes will be what votes are.
Dave, when you got back to camp tonight, what did you see? Did the Wetsu and former Wetsu and Tindas, was there scrambling going on?
We just took a nap. It was funny for the Blue Tribe. I'm a big Survivor fan, and you see on the show all the scrambling. The Blue Tribe, we honestly didn't do much scrambling today, except up to the last vote. The last 2 hours was what I expected on Survivor. It was off by 2s, off by 3s, off by 4s, everyone talking to everyone. It was chaos.
Steve, you were part of a former tribe that came in short on numbers. What was it like for you getting back to the merge camp tonight?
Well, you know, we hope that we can figure something out. So yeah, there's been a lot of scrambling. We hope that we can move forward because we don't have any sort of numbers.
All part of the master plan. Hope I still get those Godiva chocolates in August. Good planning.
This is unfortunately the start of a bloodbath of guys not liking me on the jury. Sorry, Steve.
Hey bud, I didn't get a chance to tell you that I was having to vote for you. Sorry. Only strategy. You're the leader of the tribe and we need to get some numbers. Hope this works. Not for you, but for us. Love you, guy.
You didn't come to me with a plan, and somebody else did. Sorry, buddy.
If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and you want to play it, now would be the time. I'll read the votes. First vote, Adam. Second vote, Steve. One vote Adam, one vote Steve. Adam. Steve. 2 votes Adam, 2 votes Steve. Adam. Adam. 4 votes Adam, 2 votes Steve. Adam. 5 votes Adam, 2 votes Steve. 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 5 votes Adam, 4 votes Steve. Steve. 5 votes Adam, 5 votes Steve, 1 vote left.
Drum roll, please.
14th person voted out of Durham Warrior 2017. And the first member of our jury. Steve.
No!
Steve, you need to bring me your sword.
Good guy. Good job.
There you go. Good effort, man. Good effort.
Take my jacket, take everything, just give it back to me at the end.
Take it as a compliment.
No, it's all good. I get it. It's all good.
We're ready for darkness.
All good. All good. Assholes.
Grab a torch.
Love you guys.
Bring a torch.
Yeah. I had it coming, so.
Steve, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
All right, here I go. Oh my goodness, I almost had it. I needed David to be on our side, and I was talking to him when they came and got us for tribal council. And I was like, are we good? Are we good? He's like, yeah, we're good. But then he wouldn't look at me here, and I thought, I think I'm in trouble. And when I saw my name for the first time, I knew that unless Dave pulled out something for me, I was going home.
Why did Dave go with blue and not with you?
Because Dave is really smart and realizes that people on blue, including Adam, are not that much of a threat to him. At this point, he can regroup, he can go on. I was already planning to cut him a couple votes down the line. That's not going to happen. I am thrilled to be part of the jury because I want to see what that feels like and what that's like. And good on them. They played this game, and I have no ill will to anybody who voted for me. It was a game, and I will vote for the best player and happily do it. This has been an incredible last few days, and from everything I can imagine, it made me feel something a lot deeper than I feel when just watching a TV show, or even when going to see something live that Survivor's doing. This was a real experience, an immersive experience. I felt like there were times I felt like I was playing Survivor, and there was one time when I lost a challenge that I almost burst into tears, and I'm thinking, why am I bursting into tears? This is a weekend away. It was that emotional. Leave it to Bob.
The tribal council was awesome. I saw the flames walking up, and I said to Carolyn, "Whoa!" just straight whoa, and I hadn't even seen the whole thing. I mean,
I turned to Annie and I'm like, "Why didn't you do this with me? Why didn't you?"
well, I know this from experience. Like, there's just something different about a night tribal, and I get why it can't happen here all the time. But I'm really, really glad it did because the vibe is just totally different. And Carolyn and Adam and John were saying like that felt just the exact same as being at tribal council on the show with the whole set and everything. So
it really surprised us also, which seems crazy because this whole time we've been thinking, oh, when are they going to do it? When are they going to do it? But then tonight we were so busy talking and trying to get to talk to everybody that we didn't even think that having it tonight would be a possibility.
I feel like I had a really good grasp on my game. I had things in control. I got what I wanted out of what we were doing. Merge happened, still felt good.
And then obviously this past tribal council, Steve went home. One of my closest alliances, he was on my tribe, which I thought, going into this, we were gonna hook back up with Adam and Bethany and Candace. Clearly that didn't happen. I had no idea what was happening. I got told who to vote for at the last second and I just went with it because it wasn't me. And it was Adam, and it came down to 5-6, so clearly the Blue Tribe's sticking together, and me, other Nick, Mama C, and John are on the outs right now.
I had a choice between going with Island of Misfit Toys, the 3 and the 2. I didn't really know any of them the first time any of them really talked to me. A couple of them was to pitch me on why it'd be better for my game to lead my group. But even with the blue, I could potentially still be at the bottom. I mean, they were kind of strong before he came in. I thought I didn't expect to be here now. I thought I was going to be the first one gone out of the tribe. So I could be at risk, but both sides. Let's say I make it to final 6. I think I have a better chance of beating blue than I do with the other ones, because I think if they turn on me, I have a better chance of knocking off the blue right now. Like against Steve, against Carolyn, some of those, I think my game would be more at risk.
The impromptu tribal council definitely took us all by surprise, and I think kind of messed up my game. I think in general people just went for the safer choice because they hadn't prepared to, make a decision, and like tribal lines were the obvious way to go, and rather than rock the boat without the knowledge of like what twists could be coming, everybody just wanted to stay the course, which I can understand. But moving on from here, I mean, I guess one option would be to try to work with John and Carolyn, who were also on the wrong end of that vote, and Nick, who was my alliance member and former Tinda tribe mate. But we'd have to flip a couple people from the blue tribe, and I'm not so sure I really trust John and Carolyn for a few reasons that I guess I can get into. So fast forwarding or rewinding all the way back to day 1, when we were hiking through that initial challenge in our groups of 8 after we first arrived, Nick C found an advantage to give any tribe or individual a disadvantage at a future challenge. And it's not something we've obviously used yet, but he found it in front of our whole group of 8, so everybody knows about it. And I would imagine everybody on the blue tribe knows about it, since many of them were in our group. So that's some information we shared with John and Carolyn, to try to think how we might strategically use that to either somehow keep us safe in the future, or as leverage to flip someone over.
I think that, I honestly think that that's part of the reason why we did so well, is that we were always trying to look at it as a team. We were moving forward. And if you start to talk about who's going to be voted out in the 5 minutes that you have, you don't have the same strength moving forward. So yeah, we hadn't talked at all. We all stayed as a group after the challenges and talked about like, great job, this is fantastic, yay team. And then we had like 12 seconds to come up with something. And especially after winning all those challenges together, that's not a lot of time to know that you're gonna hurt someone. I don't think it was even like directed. I think that's just like, that was like the team discussion.
Here's the deal with the 6. I, even before last vote, said I don't want to go final 6. It wouldn't be that fun. A pagong isn't fun. Nobody really wants to see that. I'm here to make moves. I'm here to play. This is my shot. And then last tribal happened, and it is now impossible to not do that, at least for the next 3 rounds or so. And here's why. So we gave a lot of us, me, Adam, Bethany, Liza, pretty much Dave, I think everybody but Candace really opened themselves up to the other side. Said, we're willing to work with you guys. We don't know what we can do yet. We're willing. And the thing is, Steve and John especially were like just running around making, let's do us 4, let's do us 3, let's do us 5. Like a lot of crazy stuff. And there just wasn't any way to trust what they were doing. But if they were to at least throw a vote on John, if the three guys from the Pink Tribe, if they throw a vote on John, if John and Carolyn throw a vote on a Nick or a Steve, at least show a willingness to work with us. But they united, those 5 united, and united us together, because we really weren't that strong. Yeah, we were strong, we won the challenges, but there were certainly fractures, and the big thing is that the people who were really in the center were willing to fracture. But it's just impossible now for a couple of reasons. One, if any of those other 4 make it to the end, they win hands down over any of us. Absolutely. Total underdogs. There's just no chance any of us have a shot, including survivors. I would vote for Mama C to win. She's awesome. She's an underdog. Just because she's played before doesn't mean it's any easier for her to get through this. So that's one aspect. Second aspect is that I can't really trust a word any of them say, just as they probably can't trust a word that I say. So especially the next 2 to 3 rounds, I can't flip where I'm on the bottom of that alliance and I'm on the bottom, and my old alliance hates me. Whether that's in terms of jury votes or targeting me, so that's 2 bad things right there. And the third reason is that now the culture is so united because that vote happened. It was 6-5. That the Candaces, the Daves of the world, like Liza's, who was freaking out before the vote, a lot happening there. They feel so strong, and there were so many promises made. And look, I broke like 7 promises in 10 seconds to Alex today, but it just would be too damning to my game to break those. So that's where I stand with the 6. There's too many things happening for it to break this early, and I would be hard pressed to see it break for 7 or 8 minus some idols, some immunity. So that's where I stand with it. And the thing is, I feel like I'm positioned the best that I can be in the 6. I can't see a better permutation right now of where I could go that gives me a better shot of getting to the end.
Austin, Bethany, and I have agreed that final 4 we're taking out Adam. And then, I mean, I hadn't thought of the possibility of a final 2 at this point. I would think that the final 2 right now would be Austin and I. But I think that there's a better chance of me beating Bethany in that.
I think that the 4 in my head is going to be Austin, me, Liza, and Adam.
I think we're going to padong to 6. We think Carolyn might have an idol. We think John has a legacy advantage of some sort. We are going to bug you guys to ask what the tie voting rules are at some point. I don't know if you're going to tell us or not, but we're going to ask that. Padong to 6. I think the group is going to then start fracturing off. I think I will probably end up with Candace and not Adam, Bethany and Liza. And I think that's who we're going to go to the final 4 with. I think I can beat them.
I think that Candace is trying too hard to play completely loyal, and I also haven't heard her mention anything about what's going to happen when we get down past once we get to final 6. Dave either, I haven't heard anything from him about that. So that makes me a little anxious about them, because it doesn't feel like I'm in their plans after that.
I've felt good with Adam and Bethany and Liza in particular. And the nice thing is that they all feel good about each other. So that has been set as a 4. Within that, Liza thinks that me, her, and Adam are tight. Bethany thinks that me, her, and Adam are tight. Bethany and I had a really good chat today. So within this 6, I feel really well positioned. If at final 6, all 5 of them were to turn on me, then obviously I'll look dumb. I mean, clearly that would not be great. But here's the ace in the holes that I have is, 1, I know about Adam's vote steal. Nobody else does, as far as I'm aware. And I don't think he's gonna tell anyone else. And at 6, if there's a 3-3 potential situation, that's a huge number to have, and a huge extra number to have. And I know Adam trusts me because he told me that.
When we first got to the merge camp, Steve was running around to every single person, jumping from person to person to person to person, figuring out who was voting where. I tried to tell him before we got to the merge to just sit back and let people come to you, and we would link up with Adam and stuff later, but it came off the wrong way. So that's what happened with Steve, and I feel like it kind of snowballed onto me and Nick. So I just ended up being on the outs of that. So I'm trying to getting back into the game, trying to take a back seat and look at what's been going on. Austin had approached me and said that Bethany and Adam and Austin said that they didn't want to vote me out, so that's why it wasn't me tonight. But I don't know how much I can believe at this point, because I wasn't included on it, even though I was talking with them.
The little moment is that Liza was freaking out before this vote when we were walking up. She had just talked to Steve, and some people, when the last person who talks to them is like the last thing they get. I think that's true with Liza. It's probably true with Candace too. And she was freaking out, saying we should flip the vote on to Nick C. I actually don't even remember. Nick C, Nick H, somebody. She was like gonna switch at the last second, and I was like, we can't possibly switch our 6 at the last second with being in total different places, and we're gonna throw each other off. And we had established a plan before. We had worked with it. She still was skeptical. She then, then she said, well, Nick C told me that he told Steve something, and Steve said he didn't know about it, so Nick C was lying, so I want him out. And I said, well, Nick C doesn't benefit from lying to you there. Steve probably is lying to you. And that flipped the switch with her, and she said, okay, we're good as a 6, we're solid. So I think I can take as much credit as anybody. I think Adam's our vocal leader, and I'm fine with that, but the subtle things I've done behind the scenes, pulling the group together, and being the only one, I mean, Nick, Adam, Bethany, Candace, they were all together. Liza was the only one who was on my initial tribes or anything. So I've been able to work my way into all the groups, solidify them, and then make sure I'm in a good position.
Adam, Austin, Bethany, and I had talked about the possibility of bringing Steve in. And then maybe like 5 minutes before you came down, I was talking with Steve about what he thought he wanted to do. And the first name he mentioned from Blue is Austin, who I'm really looking to work with and to go to the end with. And then at that point I knew that we couldn't have taken Steve and that wouldn't be an option.
We've sort of gathered that the people on the bottom of the Blue tribe were Liza and Dave. So Dave was somebody we made a really hard pitch to this afternoon. So me, Nick, Steve, Carolyn, and John obviously wanted to, flip someone from the Blue tribe to our side so that we could have the numbers going into the next tribal council. And we targeted Dave, who said he might be with us. I think maybe if we had given him more time to think about it, he might have made the jump, but caught off guard by the tribal council. I think he just wanted to play it safe. But I'm sure he'll be looking for an opportunity in the future, so he's definitely somebody I'm thinking about. I feel like Liza is definitely the other person on the outs. She is not in that original group that we made that journey on day 1 with. So she doesn't have like the prior relationships that some of them have. And I think we could maybe target her as a potential person to work with us as well. My concern is that I know she's really a big fan of Adam, and I remember the moment where Adam had to pick the first member of his new tribe when we swapped yesterday, and he said, who wants to be on my tribe, and her hand shot up. So if we want to target her as someone we could potentially work with, maybe Adam is not the name we throw out.
I thought it was the better option between the other group, because I thought the other group would see me as dispensable a lot earlier than Blue would. I also think I have a lot closer, even though, if you want to say I'm on the bottom, maybe I am, but I also have a lot better ties with them now, and I think they're more likely to say, I'm worried about beating Bethany, so why don't we do something? I think that's going to start happening over the next 24 hours. And I think they're probably going to come to me because it's not part of the core group.
I would say Bethany.
Why?
I think she's played the best game. She has been pretty athletic in the challenges. I think she's done the right things to get her into the spot that she's in. And I mean, I feel like Adam's kind of got her under her wing, and Adam's kind of calling the show for them a little bit right now.
They've all been kind of surprised by me physically in what I can do. I think Carolyn called me a brute, which is not something I've ever heard before. It's not usually a term thrown about me. So I think I've got that going on. I mean, I think I've made better relationships than they have on a wider scale. I think that they're more insular with the group. I have been more, I've made more relationships than she has. I think she's been quieter than I have. I think that I have taken the direction of the game. Tomorrow is gonna move fast. It's hard for me to say what's gonna happen at 3 o'clock when, who knows who's gonna be there.
My best move of today was keeping Dave, and I talked last night about how Alex was giving me a couple red flags, and I thought they were okay, but I started to plant those seeds in people's heads. So when the quick vote happened today, we had 10 seconds. I was not the one who threw out Alex's name. I was sitting there in the back of the line, waiting my turn, hoping to get a whiff of anything, just praying that Adam and Bethany would say Alex and not Dave. And miraculously, from all the pushing about Alex potentially flipping, all the talk that he would go to the other tribe, we stuck with we stuck with Alex. We kept Dave because Alex doesn't feel like he owes anyone anything. Dave is the type of guy who, if you stick your neck out for him, he will get your back. He's a military guy, he's there, and I told him all day, just chill out, because he was freaking out all day. Like he was really trying to dig his own grave, and he just I was like the rock hitting it from him going too far down. Like he was like doing his little rocks. He pulled out a rocket tribal. But
what was that about?
I don't know. It was crazy. And LJ didn't have an idol, I don't think, or he gave it to Carolyn. But yeah, Dave was just losing his mind, thinking he was at the bottom, obviously, and I had been working to make sure that Dave stayed and not Alex. Dave was making that pretty difficult, but maybe by being so paranoid and so overtly I'm on the bottom, I think he actually might have helped my cause.
Well, I can say two things. I can talk about the moves I played, what I brought to the game. I can also talk about how I was the swing vote and I made the decision to send each of you home. And I think the people over there respect it. I think they might be pissed about it and they want to be sitting there, but the indications I've gotten from right now is, Carolyn walked out and said, boy, I wish you came with us, but I kind of get it that our pitch didn't really make that much sense. Come with 3 and 2 people who you don't know very well versus the group that you already have. I would if I were them. I don't think they're going to give up. John's relentless. He's talking to everyone nonstop. So is Carolyn. So I do think they're going to be coming after each of us individually. We've all committed. We're going to get the final 6. Hopefully that stands up. I don't think anyone's going to flip, but I might have made a monumental mistake, and I'm sitting on the jury tomorrow.
I think John's created a bigger target for himself, and I think that I haven't really done. Besides this past vote, I haven't done anything to really disprove loyalty, because they didn't really prove it to me. So I feel like, if anything, it would be John, Carolyn, Nick H, and then me. I think the survivors that are in there right now are planting that in the newbies' heads, that take me to the end, we'll never win. I've heard it from all of them, but I don't necessarily think that's true. I think it's a strategic way to get to the place where you want to be, and you get the title at the end. When it gets down to 8, the numbers are really small, and if you're number 6 in that group of 6, now's your chance to make that move and to make a change in the game. Down, but once you get down to 8, that's when the time, or 8 or 7 is when the time is to make those moves and to really get in, because that could be the difference in the 6th place person getting to the final 3 or them being the last of their barrel. Someone's on the bottom of that.
I am certainly considering trying to make a flip from John, Carolyn, and even Nick. I think Nick has been playing a phenomenal game up until, the last vote. He was on the right side of everything, really running the show at Tinda for the most part. And I think we went to I guess we went to 5 tribal councils, and for every vote, everybody checked in with Nick, and he never had his name written down once. So he's not somebody I would like to take to the end ultimately, because I think he would beat me in a landslide.
I feel like at this point in the game, you can't trust anybody. I feel like the only person I have 95% trust in is Nick, the other Nick. Other than that, it's all up in the air.
Well, I've been very careful in the pre-merge to like not position myself as the leader of any group or as like any kind of threat at all. And my plan was to really turn it on in the post-merge. And I think that sort of worked to my advantage today. I would be very surprised if I came up as like a target for that tribal council in particular, just because I don't think people see me as a threat, and I know that people saw Steve as like somebody who was really schemy and running around talking to everybody, and I really remained loyal to one group. I don't think I've given anybody any reason to want to cast a vote for me, so I think that put me in a safer position than maybe Steve was in.
Just as in, like, I know this sounds bad, but I feel like he's just kind of in my pocket as just a number. I like Nick, but I don't think he's really done anything to kind of play the game. He's kind of just gone along with what I've wanted to do.
I'm prepared to play balls to the wall tomorrow. Like, anything I can do to enhance my resume, I'm going to give it a shot. I keep going back to, in my mind, when we ranked our tribe members by strength of best competitor to worst competitor, and there were 8 people ahead of me, and many of them are still in the game. So I think if there were a majority vote right now, I would not be getting most people's votes at the final tribal council. So I'm going to do all I can to change that perception now that we're sort of in the home stretch. And
yeah, I think tomorrow morning is going to bring about a whole bunch of new things. Right now, everything's kind of just like settling down. They're feeling good. There's some cracks in
my opinion. Survivor, you gotta have it's kind of like poker. You can do anything you want. You could have the best hand in the world, and if it doesn't fall, you're not going to win the game. I think I've set myself up to have a potential hand to win the game. Things still have to fall my way, but I actually, for the first time since I started playing this game, I actually see a path where it could happen. Will it happen? I don't know, but I think I have a shot.
Sorry, we should. See, hit him up.
Yep, I see it.
All right,
Awesome. I'm trying to now think what happened. Now the shock's off. I'm out of the game. I get it. But what happened? And how did it switch from being the target being John to the target being me? I have a lot of questions to ask. I'm gonna love asking those questions, and I want answers to those questions. I'm gonna require answers, especially if any of the people who voted me off are in the final 3, because I'm gonna ask them something. I need to know. 6 people who voted me out were Adam, Austin, Bethany, Candace, David, and the girl Liza.
So Umpe.
Yes.
From before the merge.
Umpe is together, and they voted me out. And we were trying to flip David and get him over to our side. And he said that he was getting there, and I was just making my final pitch, and it just didn't work. Everybody who voted me out made a good move, and I give them all the credit in the world for making that move. And I have literally nothing personally against them. The people who followed along with it, though, come on, do something. Don't just do what Adam, the guy who won $1 million already, tells you to do. But, so if it's a bunch of followers at the end, they're going to have to prove to me that they did something to deserve the win. I think Adam is going to have his choice of who's going to be in the final three, because now he's got the numbers and he can do whatever he wants. I really can't. I mean, I do reality shows basically for a living, and this was fun.
Really? Okay. Very cool. My name's Ramon Riesop.
Nice to meet you.
I've been the doc, the medic for the entire week. You've seen me a couple times.
I've seen you a few times.
Good. Great job today. Great job the last couple days.
Oh, so much fun.
Yeah. That's good. You seem high-spirited.
I'm very high-spirited. I really am. I had an experience that I enjoyed having, so.
Very good. Not like sad or nothing like that. You know, doing everything else.
I firm believer in what goes around comes around. I knew that if I pulled off a win, it would be, it's not a pulling a rabbit out of a hat, it's pulling a rhinoceros out of a hat. So I feel great.
Solid.
Wait, what did he say?
Yeah, that's how rough I thought I looked.
128 over 88. Okay, a little bit high. Not to be that unexpected, to be honest with you.
I was just
finishing
voted off
3
Survivor,
days.
so.
You just got voted off, most definitely. Steve, I think everything looks good. Okay,
Awesome.
If anything within the next 24 hours, I'm going to be here.
Okay,
If you notice something in your sleep, you can't sleep, or something's wrong, please don't hesitate to find me, and we'll get you squared away. I'll check back again with you tomorrow morning.
Thank
too.
you so much.
Hey, great
Appreciate
job,
it.
Steve. Good job.
And now we're gonna welcome you to Bob's Bar.
Bob's Bar.
Come on in.
Oh, yay.
Welcome to Ponderosa.
Ponderosa.
Here it is.
10 cents, we'll give you a stick.
All right, Steve, way to go. High five, everybody.
I stink.
That's all right.
You know it.
Have a seat.
Yeah, you know.
This is
You
your
don't
two.
know.
Oh, wow.
We got a bottle of champagne if you want to toast your success to this point.
Actually, I'd love a root beer instead.
Would you like it in a mug or would you like it right out of the bottle?
How would you do it? I want to do what Bob would do.
I drink it out of the bottle.
Then let's do that. You reap what you sow. And karma's a bitch. I'm doing good. Thank you for this gift. I was surprised with how much it really felt like this, how much it felt like this mattered. Like, it mattered to me that I win this immunity. It mattered when I lost enough that I almost cried. That I would sit there and think, okay, they have 4, I have 3, but what am I gonna do? And that I really truly cared about how I was gonna flip the game. I cared a lot, and I didn't expect to care. I thought I'd come in and play and have a few laughs and do a few challenges, and then, you know, who knows, maybe I'd make it to the end. I'm charming. I didn't expect how invested I would get into the game, and how invested I got in to connect with people who, look, in real life, when I'm going about my real life and talking about, oh, I love the game of Survivor, people are like, oh, that show's still on, or oh, I haven't watched it in 10 years or whatever. Or some people are like, oh yeah, we watch it, but they couldn't name anybody in it. So to be playing the game of Survivor against other survivors, but also against super fans who also know who the third boot in Guatemala was, is kind of amazing. It really is, because I think if I had been out there if you had found me 24 random people who didn't really, 24 casual viewers, I think you can run the table on them. On something like this, these people are good. They really are. And everybody who's still out there, the 10 of them that are still out there, are good players. Some better than others, but yeah. I have a lot of apologies to make. I blindsided Dan, then I blindsided Trish, then I blindsided Abby, then I blindsided Sunday, and then I blindsided Katie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every single one of them, I told them that Nick H was going home. Every single, and all of them voted for, except, actually that's not true. Dan voted for Sunday. But everybody thought that, and right before, in tribal council, I nodded at them, looked them in the eye, smiled, we're good. And I voted them out. Except, I've got to say, if I'm making apologies for Abby, you got to take that up with Sunday, because I said to Sunday, we love Abby, maybe we should tell her. And Sunday's like, no, don't tell her. So that one's Sunday's fault. She's the one who threw out the name, not me. Bethany's playing a terrific game, and nobody is going to vote off Bethany for a very, very long time. And I think she knows where her votes are going, and she knows what's going on, and she was helped by the fact anybody from Blue who makes it through to the end, congratulations, but you didn't have to go through the pre-merge that anybody from Pink and Orange had to go through. So, we voted ourselves down to 3 and 2. I love this game so much, and I respect this game so much that I feel like if I hadn't played it, I would have been disrespectful to everybody else who was playing the game. I would have been disrespectful to you, to all the people who made the challenges, and I would have been disrespectful to myself. So I decided, okay, it's a chance of a lifetime. Let's just go in and do whatever I could to make sure that I would make it to the next round. And I think that because I was doing it with superfans, I hated to send people home really early. But I think in someday when they come down for, I'm sure I'm going to get some nasty notes from a couple of them. But I hope that they understand that this was, I had to, because that's what this game is. And I certainly don't go through life trying to screw people over, but in Survivor, apparently I do.
Yeah. I feel like there's some little love connections forming. There's some canoodling going on.
Between?
Bethany and Adam. And I think maybe Candace and Austin might have a little something. They got a little foursome going on.